everyone. Perfect. Hi, everyone. My name's Cleo. Welcome to this call about starting your travel business. And if you don't know me, I'm Cleo. I'm a one-star director within the travel business. I started this business literally 1 year ago, and I started marketing it last week. It would have been exactly 12 months since I started the travel business. And I started out doing both sides of the business, but have since leaned towards doing the marketing side because obviously my team has grown quite significantly. However, I am in the process of actually looking to start up a professional travel agency, as in looking to, not just book for family and friends, but take it to more of a professional scale. So I've been looking into ways to actually market my travel business from a business perspective as well. So the purpose of this call is really to help anyone who is looking to start their travel business, whether that's as a travel agent or from the network marketing side, because I have observed that a lot of people start, they go through the training, and then they don't really know what to do. And sometimes you can feel overwhelmed with information. And actually, it doesn't have to be complicated. It is quite simple. So what I want to do is I'm not going to go into too much detail about the how, because there are lots of trainings that are provided, whether you're in my team, Caroline's team. I know Nicole has shared some people to join from her team as well. It doesn't matter whose team you're on, you should have access to a lot of trainings that will help you with regards to the how. This is more of a what call. And I'm just going to give you a very high level about what you can do to get started with your travel business. So let me share my screen with you because I have prepared a presentation. While I move this over. Someone's not on mute, guys. If you're not on mute, please check that you are so I can not get distracted by final sounds. Green. There we are. Can everybody hear this? See this okay? Perfect. I'm assuming you can. Okay, so what we're going to cover today is the mindset that you need to succeed, marketing your travel agency business, marketing the business opportunity, and starting out on social media. So firstly, I just want to say that in order to have confidence with this business, a lot of people think, well, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not confident, and that kind of gives them starting paralysis. But the reality is you don't really need to be confident to start. Your confidence builds by showing up. It doesn't really build by theory. Theory will only take you so far. You really do need to actually do the work to learn, what works, what doesn't for you, what you want to do, what part of the business takes your interest. And so the only way that you're going to actually figure that out is by starting. It's the same really when people are sort of thinking about joining. I always say, well, how do you know if you're going to like it if you haven't tried it? And once you start, how do you know what you're going to do if you haven't started? So you actually just need to start talking to people about it and getting some opportunities, whether that is from the travel agency side or from the business opportunity network marketing side. You just have to start because you're not going to know how it's going to work unless you actually do it. So another thing that paralyzes people is people saying no to them or doing a quote and then not winning the quote. That is reality, guys. Like, it doesn't matter what business you do, you are always going to, and no one has a 100% success rate of sending out a quote and winning that business. It's just not realistic, okay? And the reality is, when you're starting out, it's more likely that you're going to have to do that little extra bit of legwork because firstly, you're figuring out what works for you, you're figuring out your cadence, how you speak to people about it. So you have to reframe rejection. I wouldn't even call it rejection, just call it like no's, like people that aren't interested or people that want to, they don't want to use you as a travel agent. You just have to kind of reframe that as as feedback and learn from it. And that really is, it's that simple. You have to expect people to say no, and obviously come at it with a positive mindset, because you are going to come across people that will say yes. But it's more a case of like finding the right clients and finding the right business partners for you, rather than just expecting everyone to say yes to you straight away. Okay. Now, the key here, you really have to detach from the outcome of your activity, okay? And the key is, like, you know that you need to speak to a certain amount of people to get the opportunity to quote, to get those outcomes, but you do have to detach from people saying yeses and focus on your activity. And that really comes down to speaking to people about your business. No one knows that you're open if you don't tell them. And I've put together this little example here just to visualize it for you, okay? If you've got a high street and there's loads of shops on the high street, i.e. like loads of travel agents, if you're not telling anyone about your business, you are here, no one knows. No one knows what you do if you haven't told them what you do. People are not mind readers. And guess what? Even if you tell them once, they'll probably forget. And that's the truth. Like, people are so preoccupied in what they're doing in their own life that they're not really going to remember what you said to them a month ago or 2 months ago. So it is your duty to continuously develop your business. And this goes for any single business, okay? My background is in corporate interior design. I've spent 10 years working in business development and sales. And guess what? We had an incredible portfolio of repeat clients, but my main part of my job, or one of the key parts of my job, was going out and finding new business. Because even if you've got a huge multi-million-pound portfolio and all these great things on your website, if you do not actively go out and prospect, you can't expect new people to know about what you do. And so this goes for the travel agency as much as it does for the network marketing. No one is going to know what you do unless you tell them. And so it is your duty, if you have started a business, and this goes for any business, okay? Unless you're like getting loads of referrals and then you're too busy and you don't have time to look for new business, then that's great. But most businesses do need to go out and proactively look for business. There's nothing different about what we're doing here. So you have to be prepared to talk to people about it. Otherwise, you are just this empty gap with all these other shops open. And I've put this little closed shop here as well, because the same goes, like, this reminds me of people that will join this business, any business. They start a social media page and then they show up like once a week on social media and say, oh, but I'm on social media. No, babes, your shop looks like it's closed, okay? All these other shops are open with the windows open, people are on there, they're letting people in, they're in there chatting to people, and your shop has no activity. There's nothing going on. If you are not open and posting consistently on social media, you are a closed shop. And that is what people see. So it is your duty, if you are posting, it is your duty, if you have started a business, to be consistent with it and showing people that you're open for business and that you're serious about this business. And hopefully that visualizes that for you, because I think it's so important. You can't just post a story once a week or a reel once a week and expect people to take you seriously, because that's just not how this works, especially when lots of other people are posting consistently and showing up consistently. And you have to also remember, okay, like, it's really easy to look at other people and think, oh, they're having success, why aren't I having success? This business is a long game. It's not a lottery ticket. You don't just pick it up and all of a sudden loads of clients are going to start coming to you. You do have to put in effort to see any kind of results, whether that's with the network marketing side or the travel agency side. It is a long game, and this goes for both of them. Like, you need to show up consistently, you need to talk to people, and you can't expect to have like a 5-figure business or a 6-figure business straight away. Or even if you started to make a couple of £100 a month extra, or just cover your shopping bill, it's still going to take some effort to get to that point. And that is just the reality of not just this business, but anything, especially if that you're new to this. Treat it as like I've said in previous mindset trainings that I've done, like you kind of have to see it as yourself as an apprentice. Just realised my camera's off. You have to, I'm not sure why that is. You have to see yourself as an apprentice when you're starting out with this, okay? You are literally like learning something new. It's a new skill. So you can't just expect to be joining and knowing everything and everything just swinging through straight away. Okay, so it's a long game. Treat it as a long game. Take it seriously and treat it as a business, not a hobby. I think where sometimes people are not seeing the results that they want is because they're not taking it that seriously. So it's really important that you show up and treat it like like you want to have success with it. Okay, so that covers mindset, and I'm happy to answer any questions that people have at the end of this session. We're going to talk about marketing your travel agency business now. This is absolutely critical, and I honestly believe that this is where a lot of people are not getting the type of clients that they want with their travel business. Please do not give yourself some credit, okay? Do not position yourself as a price comparison site. Please don't go telling around people, I'm going to get you the best price and great deals and the lowest travel, and you're not Love Holidays. And that is not what we're trying to achieve here. Because if you want to attract those types of people, they will just go to the cheapest place. You don't want to position yourself as a cheap travel agency and getting people the best price. Cheap should never come out of your mouth. Okay, you need to position yourself as providing someone with a service and experience. You want to give people the best possible holiday and take the pressure off them, because they might not like booking their own holidays. They don't have time to book their own holidays. They find it stressful booking their own holidays. Those are the type of clients that you want. They may be like, not everyone is going to be the right type of client for you and your travel business, but those are the type of clients who, if you give them a good experience, they will come back to you again and again and again. And guess what? That's when business development pays again. You get recurring income. And that is really what you want to have when you're building your travel agency business, is repeat clients, because it means, similar to how we do with the network marketing, you do the job once and you get paid again and again and again. Obviously, you do have to do the quote again and again, but the job of actively looking for that client is just going to be once. So please don't brand yourself as a cheap travel agency. So in terms of where to look for your travel agency clients, you can look in all kinds of places. A lot of the time, I've heard people say, and I wanted to talk about this because I've heard people say, oh, but I don't know anyone, or no one wants to work with me. Your warm market is literally just where you can begin, okay? So your family, your friends, people that you know, you can start off by looking at those. And if you're not familiar with the Rep Handbook, please familiarize yourself with the Rep Handbook. There's like 100 places. It gives you loads of suggestions that you can look at in terms of where to look for clients. But your warm market, okay, guys, family, friends, and you can say to them, I've just got my travel agent license. Do you have any trips that are coming up that you're open to me giving you a no obligation quote? It's very light-hearted, it's very like non-committal, but it's going to give you the opportunity to start quoting and looking for trips for people that you kind of have to start somewhere. But I think a lot of people are just stopping here, and actually you cannot stop here. If you don't have enough people that want you to quote for them, then you have to go and look elsewhere, because guess what, I'm referring back to being an interior designer. Okay, as an interior designer, do you think any of my friends or family could afford my interior design services? No, they could not. So I had to go looking elsewhere. And you can look elsewhere in all kinds of places. You could look on Facebook, you could look on Instagram, you could look on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one that most people don't consider, but there's a lot of people that are very time poor on LinkedIn, corporate CEOs, personal assistants or people that might need help with booking for their CEOs. But on Instagram, you could literally look through your Instagram and see people that have recently been on holiday and say to them, oh, I can see you recently went on holiday. How was it? Do you have any more trips coming up that you're planning on taking? I'd love to give you a no obligation quote, and approach it that way. Like, you can start a conversation very naturally, but don't be embarrassed about the fact that, like, it's a bit different, I think, when you are it's a bit different when you're talking to people about joining the business opportunity, as opposed to when you're talking to people about joining, like giving you the opportunity to quote. Okay, because really it is a business and you're looking for that opportunity to provide someone with a service. So you can try that way. You can try Facebook groups, depending on what your niche is. If you've decided a niche, join travel groups, parent groups, teacher groups, honeymoon groups. Literally, there's an abundance of groups, and you can provide value, answer questions, and offer free quotes in those comments and DMs. But it's really important to remember to be social, not spammy, and aim to build relationships. And finally, your community, guys. There's an abundance of places that you could go and look. Your hairdressers and nail shops, like, I don't know, even leave some flyers about. There's a lady in my team who really did a great job of marketing in her local community. I think she left some flyers in the local chippy. Be a bit creative. There's a guy on my team who's a taxi driver. He's an Uber driver. He's made a little sign and he's put it in the back of his taxi, and he's got, like, would you like a travel agency quote? Okay, be a bit creative. There are people everywhere that are booking travel, and you just need to put yourself out there and market your business so that people know that you're there, really. So how to talk about the process? Keep it really simple. You know, use a form that we have. Caroline's got a form on, if you're on our team, or she's got a form on our website, or you can create your own form, link a QR code to it. It's very straightforward. And actually, when it comes to taking the details of for the travel agency quote, the best practice is to take it over the phone, but you can also send it by email or by WhatsApp, and always then send an email confirming what you wrote down, so you've got a paper trail. Please be confident that you have got access to incredible pricing and packages. We are competitive. And what you should be doing after you've sent the quote is always following up. Don't just send a quote and then, like, leave it, because it is your job. You know, this is a business. If you think of anything that you've ever like been sold to, I don't know, if you got a quote for a car or something, they follow up. They're not ashamed to message you the day after they've sent it to you and be like, are you interested? Is there anything more that you can do? Like, follow up with people. It is really all in the follow up. And you know what? If someone decides not to book with you, then you can always say, just be polite about it. You know, happy to help. Keep me in mind for next time. Also, ask for referrals. Is there anyone else that you could refer me to? You'd be surprised. Like, you know, think it's all about who people know. And there's so many people out there that are booking travel. Even if that person decided to go and book their own trip, or they didn't go on the holiday, they probably know like 50 other people that they could refer you to. So just don't be afraid to ask for business in that way, and ask, you know, is there anyone that they can refer you to? And on that note, if someone you do end up booking someone a holiday and they have a great experience with you, please ask them for a referral. Do they know anyone else who they would be able to introduce you to? I used to get so much business from asking for referrals and through networking, because sometimes it's not the person that you're speaking to that's going to be your client. It's going to be someone that they know, okay? And it's like one step removed. If you don't ask, people are not mind readers. They are not thinking about helping you promote your business. So it really is up to you to just be a bit creative with what you're asking for, and ask people to help you to get quotes, especially if they've had a good experience, because those people are going to be really excited and they've just had an amazing holiday, and they say, oh guys, I've just booked with this incredible travel agent, like, you should give her a go. So always remember to ask for a referral. So once you've actually got someone to commit to, like, say you spoke to someone and they said, yeah, I'm happy for you to, but like, give me a quote, but I'm not planning on going anywhere now. You need to have a way of keeping yourself at the top of their mind, because at the end of the day, people are not going to remember. I'm just being really flippy, so I'm just keeping it off and use the normal one. People are not going to remember that you're a travel agent. Your business is not at the forefront of their mind, okay? So you need to find a way to regularly communicate your service without messaging them. So you can do that by a WhatsApp broadcast list. You could create a Telegram channel, create a Facebook group, create an Instagram group, and add those people into a group where you're sharing things. Just do something. Like, there's a girl in my team, she's always posting holidays in her WhatsApp stories, and I see them all the time. Obviously, I know what she does because she's on my team. But that's keeping your business at the front of people's minds subtly. It's the same as advertising. Like, when people advertise on TV, they're just reminding you that they're there. But that's how you build a brand, okay? Reminding people of your business, but doing it subtly. So if someone says, oh, yes, I'm happy for you to quote, but not right now, take that information, add them to a group. They've already committed. It's the same as when you have a business or someone subscribes to your email list, okay? You can even do that. You could get them their email and add them to an email list and send them an email once a week. You've got the Facebook groups. The Facebook groups have got loads of different marketing materials, so you don't need to worry about making marketing materials to promote the business on Canva, anything like that. All of that is done for you. All you need to do is be the vehicle from taking the information to sharing it to your client. And that is actually very straightforward when you put a system in place to do that. So please put a system in place. If someone agrees that you can give them the next quote, then keep reminding them of what you do.
No, why don't you put in 2 fish fingers for yourself and
keep asking them, and that's going to be really annoying for you. Okay, so next. Right, so now we're going to move on to marketing the business opportunity. And I just want to reiterate, you have to talk to people about the business for them to know what you do. People are not mind readers. And first of all, like, with your mindset, show up with certainty, okay? This business does work. You have evidence. There's an abundance of evidence around you of people in your team that are having success. But you know what? The people that are having success are the ones who are showing up with confidence, with certainty, and they're just getting the job done. So what you need to do is tell your story often, use curiosity, not pressure, focus on lifestyle, not just money. Someone's not on mute, please mute yourself, guys. Focus on your lifestyle, not just the income. Invite people daily, okay? I'm not going to go too much into the daily methods of operation. We've got a little slide on it next, but you do have to be inviting people daily. So many people I speak to, they're like, oh, no one's joining. I'm like, but how many people have you actually asked if they're interested in learning more about the business? You having the conversation with someone about what they did this morning is not, yes, you're building rapport, but that's not really like moving the needle. And then also promote the calls. There's opportunity calls. And if you're new to this business, you're not going to be in a position probably to do the call yourself. So promote the calls on social media, or if you're having a chat with someone and you think, oh, they'd be a good fit, you can say to them, like, I really think we're getting along here. We're hosting a call this evening. Would you be interested in joining and learning more about what I do? It's so casual and relaxed, like, especially if you've been chatting to them a little bit. You don't need to overthink it, but just promote the calls, because a lot of the time people might be watching you and thinking, oh, what she does looks interesting, or what he does looks interesting, but they're not like actually going to take that step and ask you for the information. You do have to ask them if they're interested. And, you know, just touch on that, like, the importance of marketing is so important. People think that they're just going to like it. If it wasn't important, why would these brands, McDonald's, Nike, Jet2, some of the biggest brands in the world, why would they still be spending money on advertising if marketing wasn't so important? Even though people know exactly what McDonald's does and they've got like billions, trillions, I don't know how much revenue, but they're still spending money on social media and marketing because they know the importance of continuously putting the message out there. So you have to keep talking to people about the business, or they're not going to know, they're not going to remember what you do. If Nike still pays money for advertising, you definitely need to keep advertising every single day, okay? So when it comes to marketing the business opportunity, when we talk about income producing activities, this is exactly what an income producing activity is. And sometimes people think, I'm doing so much, why aren't I getting anywhere? And the reality is they're just coming on the coaching calls. I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but coming on this call is not an income producing activity. It's an educational activity. You're learning about the business. I'm teaching you what you need to do. But until you go and implement it, this does not count, okay? So the income producing activities, when we refer, you'll probably hear people refer to the blueprint. This is the blueprint. This is it. If you follow these 6 steps, you will win with this business. First of all, expanding your network. You have to speak to people and get eyes on your content, and or telling them about what you're doing. And that doesn't matter where you're doing it. You can do it in person, you can do it at mum and baby groups, you can do it on social media, you can do it at the school gates, you can do it at the coffee shop. It doesn't matter. You have to get fresh eyes on your content and your social media. Without that, your business will not grow. If nobody knows what you do, no one will join. So you have to talk to people, you have to expand your network. And you know what, if you don't want to do social media and you don't want to tell anyone what you do, go to some local networking groups. Where I'm from in Bristol, there's loads of networking groups. I got a message from someone the other day on LinkedIn, like, hey, I post on LinkedIn about the travel business, by the way. And I got a message from someone like, hey, looks really interesting what you do. Would you like to come to this networking group and tell people you might find some new clients? Go to networking events. If you don't want to do social media and you don't want to speak to your family and friends, expand your network. New conversations. You have to talk to people about the business. If you don't actually just engaging with someone's content is not going to get them to start with you unless you've got a really strong brand already and you've got a lot of followers and people already know you, like you, and trust you. You are going to have to initiate conversations. And I go back to what I said at the beginning, guys. I worked for a multi-million-pound interior design company with an incredible portfolio. We could not rely on people coming to us. That is not how business works. You have got to initiate conversations. You have got to put the message out there, and you've got to ask people if they're interested in what you're doing. Okay. That is just part of any business that you do. It doesn't matter whether you are in this business or anything else. You have to do business development. It's just part of what you have to do with any business, and you're going to have to get over that if you want to have success with this or any other business. Exposing and sharing your business information. So sharing your information and exposing your prospects to the business. There are lots of different types of exposure. So sometimes, for me, I just speak to people in the conversations or have a conversation with them. And then before I've even pivoted, they've seen my stories and then they ask me. So I'm not saying that you probably won't even have to ask everybody, do you want to know more about the information? Because if you're showing up on social media and you're selling in your stories like you should be, and again, please watch the social media training that Nicole has done, or if you're on my team that Sam or Caroline's team that Sam has done, there's loads of information about how to expose and share the business. That's not what this call is about. I'm just telling you what you need to do rather than how you need to do it. But share the information about the business and then ask them, are they interested in learning more about the business opportunity? If they say no, that doesn't mean that you can never ask them again. Most of the people in my team will know that they have said no to begin with. And then you ask them again and they say, yes, okay, I've changed my mind. It looks interesting. So you might have to ask people a few times. Use the 3-way calls to chat and close. These are, at the end of the day, you're not going to know everything. So use the 3-way calls and chats to invite people, and also the opportunity calls. And then obviously, if people don't join on that call, then please follow up. It is all in the follow up. Not everyone's going to join straight away, but it is your job to keep in contact and keep reminding people. It's quite rare that someone signs up on the call. It does happen, but sometimes you need to follow up and, you know, give that little bit of nudging to get someone to sign up. So just expect that. So these are your income producing activities. And I promise you, if you follow from 1 to 6, every single one of these steps, you will have success with this business. It's inevitable. Okay, so to go on from that, because this is what I think really hinders a lot of people, as you don't need to know it all. If you are starting your business, you do not need to know it all. In fact, you actually don't need to know that much. All you need to know is that you can earn like the 40-second sell. You can earn an income from travel. You can earn commission booking travel for other people. You can earn passive income from sharing the business platform with other people, and you can save on your own travel. At the moment, if you've just started your business, you're basically in lead generation. Let your directors or other people do the heavy lifting for you. You know, like I put an image of this person here. You know, when you're walking down and you're on holiday and there's the people outside of the restaurant trying to get you to come in to the restaurant. Do you think the person outside the restaurant knows everything about everything on the menu and every single ingredient and detail? Of course they don't. That's not their job. Their job is to get you to come in and sit down and buy something. That is your job when you start the business, is to market your business and get people to buy the product. If someone is interested in knowing all of the details, that's what the opportunity calls are there for. That's what your director is there for. That's what your upline is there for, okay? Depending on the level of your upline. And if not, then you can ask their upline or your director or someone to help you know some information. You don't need to know it all. All you need to know is that there's an incredible opportunity, and get people to join the opportunity call and then add them to a freeway with your director or your upline and get them to do it and just shadow them until you know. I see this paralyze so many people, and it's so disappointing because they just don't start because they feel like they don't know enough. All you need to do is get people on an opportunity call. The rest can be taken care of by someone else until you feel more confident. So starting out on social media, okay, you don't need to overthink it. Messy action wins all the time. If you guys would have seen my social media when I started my page 18 months ago, I didn't mention, but I was doing digital marketing before I started the travel business. If you would have seen my content before I started the travel business, it was actually shocking. But you know what? I didn't let that stop me because I didn't really care. I just had to start. You don't get better without making it, like, knowing what you're doing. Okay, your reels will get better, your content will get better. So you just have to start. Share your face and your story. And yeah, if you're nervous to show your face, at least talk over your photos or create some kind of like humanize your brand. It's really important to stick to 2 or 3 themes, like, you know, depending on what your business is about, whether it's travel or the income opportunity or family. Just choose 1 or 2 things. Don't be trying to talk about everything, because people need to feel like consistency when they come to your page. And also it's going to help you to be a bit more strategic. So messy wins. Well, not messy wins. Messy action does win, but like make life a little bit easy for yourself and just try to stick to like 1 or 2 things. Like, for example, I talk about mindset and I talk about income, about travel a little bit. It's mainly about mindset and income. Other people, like there's some people in our team that talk a lot about like family and mum life and a little bit about travel. Other people talk about travel and humor, and they've got a kind of meme page thing going on. If I was one day talking about luxury travel and the next day I'm posting random memes and the next day I'm talking about being a mum, confusing. Just pick 2 or 3 things and then just stick to that. Consistency is obviously important. You know, show up in your stories every single day. You don't have to post loads of posts, but try to post at least 3 times a day. And then you don't even have to post loads of reels or posts. Try to post at least 3 or 4 times a week. Obviously, if you can post more, then great, but everyone's time looks different. But you should be posting in your stories every day. And you should be showing up in your social media, like on your main feed 3 or 4 times a week, I think is a good amount. If you can do more, then do more. But if you're nervous to show your face, then at least talk over the photos, build a little bit of connection. And like, if you don't have any social, you're not going to have any social proof of your own wins. if you're just starting out, use the stuff in the group chats. Every single day, we're posting things in the group chats that you can share. Even I share things. I share other people's like deals that they've got or other people's wins, or I celebrate other people's rank ups. It's just something to post about that makes it look like this business is moving. It doesn't all have to be about your own story. Just share other people's success and leverage off of that. If you were just talking about, like, even me, I've got a team of, you know, nearly 200 people. I don't just talk about things from my team. I talk about things from Caroline's team, like things that are shared in there, because sometimes I think, oh, that looks good, that person's had a good experience, I'm going to share that in my stories. So just leverage the team, guys, and make your page a bit busy. Otherwise it's like there's nothing going on. So to wrap this up, okay, people buy from people and they buy from people that they trust. So you do have to just build an element of showing up, speaking to people, getting to know people. No one's going to join your business if they don't know you. They might if they really like your content and your attraction marketing is on point, but that takes a level of, like, you might be a little bit further along, or your page might be a little bit more established before you just get people self-recruiting. If you're starting out, you need to like really be showing up every day and building a trust with your audience. That is literally so important. So the key takeaways from this is just start, guys. Please just start. Don't overthink it. Just take action. Like, I hope I've broken this down in a way that makes it really, really digestible. And obviously you can have the recording to this. But yeah, please do just start. Use your directors or your upline to do the heavy lifting and selling. Get them to do like the freeways, the opportunity calls. There's loads. There's recordings of opportunity calls. Please use them. Don't try to the worst thing that I actually think people do with marketing, particularly the business opportunity, is you're giving people too much information in the DMs and you are over explaining. So just let someone else that knows the business opportunity explain, and you just like get them on the call. Be consistent. If you're busy, block your time out. You do need to set time aside to do this every day. You can't be showing up one day a week and expecting your business to work. It just doesn't work that way. Mr. Bradley, the CEO of Planet Marketing, the president, he always says you can work this business part-time, you can work this business full-time, but what you cannot do is work this business sometimes. And that is a fact. If you want to have success, you need to be working at something every day, even if it's an hour a day, right? Like, realistically, if you want this business to work, you are going to have to give at least an hour a day. And that's like not really that much to have a successful business. And set yourself a goal. You know, whether it's that you want to do a post X amount of times a week, you want to pivot X amount of times a week, you want to get X amount of people on an opportunity call. Only you can set your own goals. Only you know what's realistic for you to do. Everyone's schedule and life looks different, but you should know what your goals are. And if you don't, then speak to an accountability partner or an upline or someone to help you set those goals, because that's really important. And every day, every single day, you should be speaking to someone about your business. Because as I said in the beginning, no one knows what you do if you don't tell them. And people aren't mind readers, and they're definitely not that, like, they don't remember that much. So it's really your duty, if you want to have a successful business, to speak to people about this. So I always like to do a little recap on these calls. So please, little 24-hour challenge, okay? Post a story or a reel about why you joined the travel business. You can ask a question in your DMs. It depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to do the travel agency, or you're trying to do the business opportunity, the network marketing, trying to do a travel agency, ask someone, can I give you a quote for your travel? If you are doing the network marketing, ask someone, would you like to earn an income and travel more? Talk to people. There's nothing embarrassing about trying to start a business, guys. Like, this is admirable, okay? You've already taken the first step. Like, give yourself a clap on that. Time to get to work. And yeah, message 5 people either about you doing a travel quote or earning an income from travel. Like, try and speak to at least 5 people. Personally, I think it needs to be a lot more than 5 people a day, but each to their own. You know, if 5 seems like a lot to you and you're just starting out, then just start with 5. and get used to it. And then, you know, maybe the next day you'll do 10, and then next week you'll do 20. You've got to do what feels right for you, but just start, do something. Okay. And that is the end of my presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And then I'm going to look at the questions. Oh, we've run over a little bit. It was supposed to be half an hour, and it's 40 minutes. Okay, scared to post on social media because my brain sits in the fact that you shouldn't. So sorry, I don't know what happened there. And I've got the paid version of Zoom as well, so it definitely shouldn't have cut out after 40 minutes. But anyway, I'm not sure what happened, and now I've lost the questions. I think I saw Andrea say, oh, there it is. I'm scared to post at the moment because you shouldn't talk about the business and the bookings in the same post. Well, that's really simple. You shouldn't speak about the business and the bookings in the same post because you're going to confuse people. Just speak about either business or booking. I feel like you're going to confuse yourself if you're trying to talk about those. Just, in fact, what I would say to you is just decide, is your social media going to be about the business or the travel? Even better. You know, I personally would not be speaking to people like you. So if you're going to do the travel business, like the travel agency, start off with people that you know. You don't need to put your travel agency business on social media straight away. I think you can actually very effectively build your travel business without doing it on social media. So maybe focus on building offline your travel agency with your network, whatever you want with that, or just speaking to people in the DMs. And then on your business social media, if you are doing both sides of the business, then speak about the business opportunity on the social media. I would just say just focus on one thing. And I think that's actually better for your business and for your social media page. Just focus on one thing because you might confuse your audience as well. So that makes it nice and easy. Pick one. Otherwise you're going to confuse yourself. Anyone got anything else that they want to ask me before we go? No. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a nice evening, day, morning, whatever time it is for you. Bye.